Anthony Joshua promoter Eddie Hearn admits that Deontay Wilder is a more dangerous fight for Joshua than Povetkin. Stay tuned. Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, Eddie Hearn did an interview with Fight Hype. Link is in the description. And it's a very brief, under a minute interview where he admits that Povetkin is technically better than Deontay Wilder, he says. So technically he presents some issues for Anthony Joshua. But he admits in that same interview, in the same breath, that Wilder, and he says it more than once, is more dangerous because Wilder is a bigger puncher. Povetkin, he says, comes in with his hooks and he's a shorter man, which could give the big man, Joshua, who's much taller, could give him some issue. But Wilder is more dangerous because he's a more threatening puncher. Listen, go watch the interview. Again, it's very short. And I'm loving life because new media, Ego's Army, Death Row East, believe in that. I told you. And I don't know what these AJ protectors want to be said. Like, I don't know what's going to appease them or satisfy them. I don't know if Eddie Hearn just has to get on the record and say, we stalled this fight. We know Wilder's a threat. We don't want to fight him next. But it's so apparent what's going on. I mean, he's all but telling you, between him doing interviews and Joshua doing interviews, they're all but telling you what's really going on. All that other stuff is just added to save face and to try to keep their stock high in this situation. All this, oh, Wilder doesn't sell. Nobody in the UK knows who Wilder is, yet you wanted to give him $5 million for his next fight. You want to give him a 2-fight deal. You want to configure Wembley to hold over 100,000 people, but nobody in the UK knows who Wilder is. You want to hit Wilder to come fight at the O2 Arena in February versus Dillian White, but nobody knows who Wilder is. All that extra stuff is bullshit, you know? But statements like this, I feel, are the true reason why Team Joshua was not chomping at the bit to fight Wilder. I mean, he's telling you. He just said Wilder is a more dangerous foe because he's a threatening puncher. So it sounds like they know Joshua's strengths and weaknesses, limitations, and probably heard little things about him in sparring. I mean, we all have. That's why Joseph Parker made that video about, it was a compilation of all the people or clips of Joshua being hurt, getting knocked down by Dillian White in the amateurs, getting knocked down by Klitschko in the pros, interviews with David Price and Daniel Dubois, guys who were being asked about, hey, did you park Joshua when you sparred him? You know, things like that. So it's very apparent what the root cause is. You're fighting Povetkin because he's shorter. He ain't really beat nobody. You could pacify it as, oh, it's his mandatory, even though a unification would trump a mandatory. So you can't use that. Like, I can understand if Wilder was a non-champ and you say, hey, we're fighting a mandatory per the rules. But everybody who's smart about boxing or who follows the sport of boxing knows a unification automatically trumps. You can get an exemption of fighting a mandatory. You know, if you don't believe me, I interviewed Robert Easter Jr. after the Broner Vargas fight. The video is still on the channel, and he told me they ordered his mandatory, and it's Richard Comey, a guy he already fought. But guess who's fighting next week? Oh yeah, that's right, Robert Easter Jr. And is he fighting his mandatory, Richard Comey, his IBF mandatory? No, he's not. You know who he's fighting? That's right, Mikey Garcia out of Oxnard, the WBC champion, in a unification. So perfect example off the top of my head of a guy who is supposed to fight a mandatory or has a mandatory in line. Robert Easter told me that Comey is my mandatory with the IBF, but he's fighting next week and he's not fighting his IBF mandatory. And he's still fighting for his IBF title unless he can't make weight or something. But it's all systems go for unification, in other words. So we know you can't play this game with us. So he just admitted, Eddie Hearn admitted on tape that Wilder is a more dangerous foe. So saying Joseph Parker is a tougher fight and technically better, you said the same thing that you're saying about Povetkin, you're saying it about Povetkin, and you said that same thing about Parker. We get it. They have better technique, but they're also shorter, and they also aren't hitting as hard as Deontay Wilder. They don't have the same level of aggression and confidence. See, if you have knockout power like Wilder, of course, your confidence is through the roof until someone shuts you up. I mean, he told you that before the Luis Ortiz fight. He says, supposedly, Luis Ortiz is the boogeyman. He said, come shut this big mouth up, right? So he's inviting that because he knows he has at any given moment, a puncher like that has a puncher's chance. Whether they're hurt, whether they're, fresh, they have that ability to come back in the fight, and Eddie Hearn knows this. And like I said, they kind of tell on themselves at certain times. So for New Media, Eagles Army, this is just more vindication, more examples. And I told y'all it was going to be a surgical summer. A lot of these dudes, making videos or writing articles, and they're trying to hold out and they've already made their bed. They've already picked the side that they're riding with, even though none of the facts support what they're saying. And now it's just all crumbling down. You got Anthony Joshua who's being pressured by fans. He's telling the fans to fight Wilder instead of him, which is a totally bad look. You have guys like Evander Holyfield saying, man, you should want to be great. I was undisputed. What are you doing? Same thing, Lennox Lewis. He's saying Wilder deserves 60-40. Tyson Fury says Wilder will chin AJ. Right? Luis Ortiz just did an interview with Premier Boxing Champs yesterday, and he says Joshua's getting knocked out in 3. He has the lesser of the 2 chins. Wilder's has more tools and more power, right? Joseph Parker and his trainer say that Wilder's gonna knock out AJ, right? So things are stacking up, at least in the public opinion realm. And the only way to dispel what these people are saying is to actually get in there and fight him. No excuses, no flat rate, a fair offer. Get in there and fight him. And we'll see. Prove everyone wrong. All the people, Tyson Fury, prove him wrong. Prove Joseph Parker wrong and his trainer. Luis King Kong Ortiz, prove everybody wrong. Prove Wilder wrong because he said he's going to knock you out too. And it's just like the walls are closing in right now on Anthony Joshua. And the funny thing is, all the bullshit that the AJ protectors say is proven time and time again not to be true. First it's, oh, you bloody Yanks. It's your Yanks, you Americans. But then it's not just Holyfield saying it. Joseph Parker ain't from America, he's from New Zealand. And he's saying it. And his trainer's saying it. And Tyson Fury saying that Joshua gets chinned. Right? Lennox Lewis saying Wilder deserves 60-40. So once again, you can't blame they're trying to create this narrative that it's just America or Yanks or Americans who are saying this stuff. But time and time again, these arguments fall flat because that's not the case. You have fighters from around the world who are giving their narratives and their opinions and predictions, and they're saying it. Luis Ortiz ain't from America. He's from Cuba, and he said it too. So you're not going to just throw this on America's back and just say, oh, it's you Yanks that are doing it. Luis Ortiz is not a Yank. He's not from here. He had to come here. He had to defect here, right? And he's saying that. So pressure's on Eddie Hearn. Again, he says that Wilder's more dangerous. I don't know what you guys want to hear out of it. You want Eddie Hearn to just say, hey, we stalled the fight. Most likely, most people are going to have at least pride, and stuff like that's not going to come up. They're not going to just outright say, oh, yeah, we didn't want the fight next. But just look at it. A massive risk. First you say, the fans say Wilder's a bum. Now he's a massive risk. How's he a massive risk if he's a bum? He ain't fought no one, but he's a massive risk. So once again, all these arguments are getting holes exposed. It's like Swiss cheese arguments. There's so many holes in them. He's a massive risk, but he's a bum. He ain't fought no one in 40 fights. And he sucks. He's Windmill Wilder. Yet Eddie Hearn's on tape, who promotes Joshua, saying, I would never put him in there with Wilder with only an 8-week camp. But you'll put him in there with Povetkin with less than 8 weeks or whatever the length of time you have to train. But you need more time to train for Wilder. You're on tape today saying it's a more dangerous fight. Why is it a more dangerous fight? Why do you need more than 8 weeks for little old Wilder? He's weak, right? Nobody in the UK knows him. Little old Wilder. So these arguments don't hold up, especially over any length of time. So all that, oh, nobody knows him, bum squat, no one knows him. Why'd you try to sign him? Nobody knows him. Why'd you offer him $5 million for his next fight versus anybody? Yeah, right? Oh, he's a bum. Okay, he's a bum. He ain't fought no one in 40 fights. Why don't you fight him next? Why are you fighting Povetkin, which you just now admitted is a less dangerous fight, a more technical fight, and he's much shorter, whereas Wilder will be an inch taller than Joshua. I mean, what more do you guys want? You guys are getting pummeled. You know, we're about to throw in the towel because your arguments don't hold up. New media. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.